Hello and welcome to another episode of Talking Politics on the Hindu's YouTube channel with me, Nistula Hebbar. I'm the paper's political editor, and like always, I shall be taking you through the news that made headlines in domestic politics. This was a momentous week for Indian politics. It's such a huge country, something or the other keeps happening. I am actually getting quite tired of saying momentous and week and domestic politics together in a sentence. Episode after episode, but this was truly a momentous week. The Supreme Court struck down the validity of the electoral bonds scheme of the government and called it unconstitutional. And the farmer groups hit the streets once again, demanding the legislative backing for a minimum support price for all crops, which they had been demanding for some time and which they said had been promised to them by the government. All of this comes very close to the general elections and therefore assumes significance of its own. But there are informative videos on the Hindu's YouTube channel on all of these subjects. I'll try and include some in the show notes. The topic that I'm going to look at, however, is something of a basic stock-taking event. Just as we are hitting the runway for a takeoff into the general elections of 2024, what is the state of play? Where are the two alliances at, the NDA and the India bloc? So this is going to be a very unstructured sort of an episode, so bear with me. I'll try and bring in as many elements as I can just to give you an idea about what is the situation as we enter the election season to end all election seasons this year. For the purposes of this episode, to just kind of make it less of a history lesson and trying to cram in too many things, I basically will begin the prep for these elections as starting from the recently concluded assembly polls in 5 states. Now, the BJP swept the Hindi-speaking states, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh, where there had been an anticipation that apart from Rajasthan, it was the Congress that would win the other 2 states, as well as Telangana, which Congress, of course, eventually went on to win. But the Hindi-speaking states stayed very much in the BJP's stable. Now, the parliament session that followed these results showed a new, invigorated BJP, very aggressive, and I think encapsulated, and I have captured it in stories in the Hindu, where the Prime Minister himself, very uncharacteristically, was very partisan and aggressive in his social media interactions. He was using emojis and emoticons and whatnot. It is quite instructive to go through some of the posts by Prime Minister Modi in that immediate post-assembly election period. You will know exactly what I'm saying. And even within Parliament, they took a very aggressive stance. They did go ahead and disqualify, the Parliament did disqualify TMC's Mahua Moitra, and there was a standoff between them and the opposition for much of that winter session of Parliament. But the government did not give an inch in that session. Well, in the last session of the Lok Sabha as well, which just concluded, the government then got a white paper on the alleged mishandling of the economy by the erstwhile UPA government. And the Prime Minister, while responding to the debate on the motion of thanks to the President for her address to both houses of Parliament, which is customary in a budget session, he set the goal of 370 seats for the BJP alone and over 400 for the NDA. When he said that, Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar had already done another somersault, political somersault, and re-entered the NDA. And Home Minister Amit Shah was meeting with TDP Chief N. Chandrababu Naidu, who was hoping for an alliance with the BJP in Andhra Pradesh, a re-entry into the NDA. And by the end of that session, it was extremely clear that the Rashtriya Janata Dal would be joining the NDA, assuring the BJP of comfort in Western UP's Jat belt, where the RLD has a lot of sway. Now, even the Akalis looked like they were hopping back to the NDA after having quit over the 3 farm laws, but I have a feeling that these farmers' protests may have put a smart spanner in the works as far as that is concerned. Now, parallel to what was happening in this sort of NDA consolidation, because of the booster dose that was given by the victory in the 3 Hindi-speaking states for the BJP, was the scatter in the India ranks. First, the TMC declared that it was only going to spare 2 seats, the 2 seats that the Congress already has in West Bengal as part of a seat-sharing arrangement. So if Congress was hoping that it would get more seats and Congress and TMC would have a good seat-sharing arrangement, that went out of the window. Then, as I said before, Janata Dal S's return to the NDA did 2 or 3 things. One, of course, it gave a solid chunk of EBC support to the BJP, which goes through the DJDU. Secondly, the fact that Nitish Kumar, who was one of the movers of the alliance, had moved to the NDA, incontrovertibly exhibited a lack of faith in the India alliance. It was actually quite bad in terms of morale for this to have happened. The RLD's exit in the crucial state of UP was a third blow. It also resulted in Congress leader Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Nyaya Yatra reducing the number of days that it was going to spend in Uttar Pradesh, because, it was going to go into Uttar Pradesh. It had 2 allies, big allies there, which is the Samajwadi Party and the RLD. It had RLD with it. Samajwadi Party said that they would participate in 1 or 2 meetings of the Nyaya Yatra, but with the exit of the RLD, it looks like a bit of an embarrassment to go through certain areas of RLD's support. The AAP came next, the Aam Aadmi Party, and the party declared that it would not enter into any alliance with the Congress either in Delhi or in Punjab, adding for good measure that the Congress did not even deserve 1 seat in Delhi out of the 7 seats in Delhi in a seat adjustment arrangement. On Thursday, another India bloc party, the National Conference, said, at first it said that it would not enter into any pre-poll alliance. Later, first Farooq Abdullah said this, then Omar Abdullah clarified that they were still with the India alliance. They were still looking at ways and means of making sure an arrangement like this for the 6 seats in Jammu and Kashmir work out. So these are all issues that have hit the opposition. And this is all apart from the arrest of Hemant Soren of the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, very important ally with the Congress. They run a government in Jharkhand together. And Friday morning's big announcement by Congress Treasurer Ajay Makkan, who said that the accounts of the BJP, of the Congress, were frozen by the IT department over some sort of a tax demand dating back to 2019, and said that it was kind of a harassment of the principal opposition party by the BJP. So BJP is extremely aggressive, and the Congress trying very hard, or maybe not so hard, to get its allies together, but at least kind of work this out. So close to the general elections, this is not a good situation at all for the opposition party. So this is what is happening in terms of political alignments ahead of polls. And but the BJP's aggression is also on display over what is taking place over polls for the Rajya Sabha to 56 seats. So Rajya Sabha has polls every 2 years. Every 2 years, 1/3 of the Rajya Sabha members retire, and then there are polls which are held, and of course there have been resignations and things like that. So not necessarily 1/3, but big chunks of the Rajya Sabha retire every 2 years, and then there are elections to them. That's why it's called a continuous house. So this time around, 56 seats are to go to polls. BJP, 28 members are to retire, 28 members according to the makeup of the state assemblies from where the seats are coming from. BJP will get the exact number back. At first, till February 14th, which was the penultimate day of filing nominations, the BJP had announced all of its 28 candidates to fill the vacancies. On February 15th, though, which was the last day on which nominations were to be filed, it announced that it was fielding an extra 8th candidate. Out of the 10 seats in Uttar Pradesh, BJP was supposed to get 7 according to the numbers, and the Samajwadi Party was supposed to get 3. Both parties had announced their candidates. exact number. And then suddenly the BJP on the last day of nomination said we have an 8th candidate called former Samajwadi Party MP called Sanjay Seth, who's an industrialist. And they also announced a candidate opposing the Congress candidate in Himachal Pradesh. Again, in Himachal Pradesh, they are trying to exploit the weakness in the Himachal Pradesh Congress unit at the nomination of lawyer Abhishek Manu Singhvi, because he's considered an outsider to Himachal Pradesh. And secondly, he fought against the state government, Congress-led state government, in a couple of cases through his legal practice. So BJP feels that it can give a good scare to the Congress, even if they don't win. This is kind of psyops, psychological operations that you do to demoralize your rival ahead of battle. So the BJP has not only kind of gathered more of its allies together, broken into the India ranks, demoralized the opposition, but also in the Rajya Sabha, they are trying to do the same. Now, if you want to know more about how the PSYOPs works, if anyone remembers that legendary Rajya Sabha poll in Gujarat in 2007, where late Congress leader Ahmed Patel won his seat in a very tensely fought Rajya Sabha election, close to midnight, and with much cross-voting from the Congress, I think at least 11 MLAs, the BJP was facing a tough assembly election later, and therefore it felt that it should break into the Congress ranks, break the unity within the Congress party before going into the polls, and that's why they did what they did. So it makes sense in terms of a tactical sort of situation. And BJP, as you can see, is holding nothing back for the third successive term that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is seeking from the Lok Sabha. Now, in UP and Himachal also, therefore, the idea is to plant seeds of doubt in the opposition ranks on its ability to fight against an aggressive rival. Matlab, hatash kar do, just demoralize their rival. And the result will be known for all of this on February 27, at least the Rajya Sabha. But till then, the opposition will also be on tenterhooks, distracting from other activities needed ahead of the declaration of poll dates for the Lok Sabha in March. So you're very close to the Lok Sabha elections. You want to do other preparations, but you're too busy trying to save your Rajya Sabha seats, which should have just plucked into your bag, but for these extra candidates that the BJP has fielded. So you're just basically distracting your rival and trying to demoralize them. So the Lok Sabha polls are due to be announced next month, and it is always educative to take stock of the political landscape. Now, this episode, as I said before, is an unstructured look at what is happening just ahead of the poll, the 5th general election that I shall be covering as a journalist. Whichever way it goes, it holds out lessons for those interested in politics on what to do, and more importantly, what not to do in a contest of this sort. This is all I have for you this week. Thank you so much for watching.